Ah, there we go. So, the program I'm using to record this froze up for a good long while before I actually saw that we were recording. So, anyways, welcome back to Novice Legendary. Today, we are not talking Warhammer. We are not talking spiffy new models that I'm looking forward to building and painting and putting on a gaming table. No, we're having another Rick episode today. No, hallelujah, he's not talking Warhammer today. Anyways, for the past month or so, I've been dealing with frequent migraines and nausea and all kinds of other crap. So I haven't been able to do a whole lot lately. This includes missing like pretty much a month's worth of D&D, which makes me sad because I do enjoy going to I always do enjoy going and playing because it helps me with my English, which I tend to trip over every now and then. I don't know why. So, anyways, a lot had happened. They've been making a lot of progress through the tower without me. This whole time, Sherzim has just been dozing off on the back of on Lucian's back, because there was this room that had like a really dark presence or influence or whatever, caused Sherzim's vampirism to just go all crazy, spazzy and everything. You know, extended jaw, long, super long fangs, and all that stuff. And they had to put him into a chemically induced coma. You know, the Mythos and Zulid have been whipping up this special sleeping powder to knock Mythos out at night because reasons. So, anyways, um, as Sherzim woke up, maybe I'll just say I. Although it can be a little tricky because there have been some times where I've hinted at the fact that you have player brain and character brain. I may delve into that in more depth in a future video. We'll see. But anyways, Sherzim, I woke up from the magic, chemically induced coma, sleep, not coma. It was asleep. I was asleep, and after getting caught up, given the quick rundown on what had happened, apparently they'd met all the gods except for Invidious, because nobody really wants to meet him except for the people that had raised Sherzim. But anyways, I guess in their journeys they had come across this dagger that grants a one-time use of the wish spell. And Lucian had decided that this would be the perfect opportunity to cure Sherzim of his vampirism. So that's what happened. We had a little debate about how to word it because, the wish spell it is almost like it was developed by lawyers. You have to be very careful how you word it. Otherwise, they'll find all these little twisty little loopholes to screw you over. We decided just to keep it simple. I wish for Sherzim to be cured of his vampirism. Sure enough, here's probably where the twist came in. This was actually pretty cool to go through, though. So it was like this fight that kind of pushed into Sherzim and kind of pushed the vampire ness out of him. So it was like this kind of pale imitation of Sherzim with probably like longer fangs, and is like blood leaking out and like shadow and everything is pretty crazy. And then in Sherzim's hand pops a silver stake. I think at the end Sherzim would have liked for it to be like steak, like cow meat, because he's been on nothing but blood for the past several months. But we'll get there. So as we all roll initiative, and we have this big fight with Sherzim's vampire-ness, and it was hilarious because it was like intense but hilarious because uh, everybody was just doing all this damage to it, and it just kept going and going and going. Even with descriptions from the DM, I was like, it's looking pretty rough and all that stuff. Things. So I guess some descriptive conventions that some of us have picked up from Critical Role. Although, granted, our DM does not have the luscious locks of Matthew Mercer, but you know it's okay because they're both great DMs in their own in their own right. They have their own style of doing it. There'll probably be another video. It's like I'm starting to come up with some ideas for more topics to talk about. So it's not just gonna be recap episodes and wargaming stuff, although it's still gonna be staggered because the schedule I was on at first, trying to release it stuff, is just exhausting. So, anyways, the big this one of the many running jokes in the group is that Lucian, our barbarian, deals mountains of damage to everything, but he's hardly ever gotten to score a kill. And that's like his thing. Is just like, I want to kill this thing, and then somebody else takes it. Is the one that actually gets the how do you want to do this? So this whole fight, we're just everybody's just smacking this thing with all kinds of magically enhanced weaponry. They're doing all sorts of high amounts of damage and everything, and he's still going. Even with he's looking really rough. It seems like he's just barely hanging on, but he's still putting up quite the scrap. So the whole time, Lucian was just like, if you kill, as everybody else, if you kill this thing, I'm going to be so pissed. But most appropriately enough, Sherzim got to deal the killing blow. Probably because the thing needed to be killed with the silver stake that popped out. I mean, it's kind of an important thing when, the thing you're fighting pops out of one of your party members, and that party member suddenly gets a new weapon that's like geared specifically towards that thing that you're fighting. It was great because then it was like this big emotional thing with us, with Sherzim just like celebrating not being a vampire anymore, actually being able to eat real food, and just all this stuff because he's been looking forward to this for the longest time. And this is part of the whole player brain versus character brain, because player brain's like, I wouldn't mind being a vampire for a little longer, see how this all plays out. There were some bits of it that were getting pretty interesting, and a lot of I have to admit, there's like a little bit of the power gamer in me / combat spec. We did have a video on that. I have to come up with something to do links and whatnot, but did enjoy these extra bonuses that, gave him some real oomph and kept him from getting mind controlled. Because then the only thing that really causes him to lose control was his own vampirism. But so, that's the player brain. Character brain is, yes, I'm done with this nasty curse. I don't have to worry about hurting my friends because I need to feed on their blood. All those kind of things. I don't have to drink deer blood anymore. This is one less reason for Lucian to punch me in the face. Everything's awesome from here on out. And this is like such an emotional thing that my brother who plays Behesher I think he actually had to step away because he was crying, Behesher's crying. I mean, it almost seems like if there's any case of player brain and character brain being like the same, it's got to be my brother and Behester. That's just maybe when I actually do a video on it, I'll bring him on and see if that's really the case. But that's kind of the feeling I get. But it's great, and he's just such a big softie, just like Beheshtur. So it's just like he's just heavily invested in everybody's well-being, especially Sherzim's. So after this big emotional thing, we start exploring the rest of the tower, find some pretty nifty things like a perpetual supply of wood for staves and staves. Yes, staves and wands, as well as like an indoor planetarium that nearly sucked everybody into a black hole, and a room full of mind controlling rats, which shares them in mind control. Still consistent. It's like even with the bonuses he's got to those different modify those stats and the saves and everything. That just happens to be when he rolls low enough where those just don't count. And it's kind of the other one of the other running jokes in the group. So, anyways, after everybody getting dragged out of there and actually saving the giant that was already going about, that was had been mind controlled by these rats for who knows how long, we eventually found ourselves in the largest aquarium, and like this giant indoor aquarium, like right above it, inhabited by like the largest shark anybody had ever seen. And that's where we left off. That's where we're leaving off until this Sunday. Pretty sure it's this Sunday. Anyways, we're actually really happy to be getting back to doing some RPG related stuff. I think I mainly just need to be doing like the Warhammer stuff because for one, I really enjoy it. I'm getting, as you can tell, I'm really getting back. I'm actually getting back into it and everything. It's it's relaxing in its own way from how RPGs are relaxing. It's nice to have diverse hobbies and whatnot. Um, but it's good to be starting to get back to the stuff that this channel was started with, and that was RPG stuff. So again, more content coming soon besides the recap episodes. Staggering, like I've discussed at the beginning of the year. It'd be a struggle for me to really consistently do it on a weekly basis and still feel like I'm actually doing anything worthwhile with it. So, anyhow, glad you could join me for this recap episode. Glad we could do another recap episode because I'd missed so much. And we'll see you next time.